Okay, so enough on stopping. I think you guys have got that one down. So the next skill with your vehicle is reversing and backing up. So reversing is definitely not like an intuitive sort of thing because it's really hard to see behind your vehicle. So first, when you're backing up in a straight line, the techniques that they use is you place your left hand on the top of the steering wheel. So every other situation, when you're steering and turning and driving straight, you always want to have two hands on the steering wheel at all times. The only exception to this is if you're in a standard and you need to take your hand off to shift, but then you bring your hand back on the steering wheel, or if you're reversing. So with reversing, it helps to have one hand on the top of your steering wheel, and then you look over, you would put your other hand kind of beside the passenger chair or seat, and you would look over your shoulder through the back window. So why would you want to look out your back window instead of just using your rear view mirror? It's because you guys have probably seen most mirrors say objects may appear or may be closer than they appear. So when you're looking through a mirror, it does distort the perception a little bit of an object. So because you're kind of looking through a reflection, that object or that car in the mirror could seem farther away than it actually is. So that's why you want to actually not depend on your mirrors as much. What you would do in a reversing situation, you would look at your mirrors just as a glance, like it says here. But your main focus should be looking directly through your window because that gives you the best perception of how close other objects or vehicles are. And then you would just glance maybe to the front to make sure that the front of your vehicle is still okay and clear as you're making movements. And maybe just you would check your side view mirrors, just to make sure that you're not getting close to any other objects. And then to make slight steering corrections, you would just turn that steering wheel in the same direction that you want the back of your vehicle to go. So because it's a little bit reverse from when you're going forward, you just steer where you want to go. When you're looking back, wherever you want the back of your vehicle to go, you push to. So if you want the back of your vehicle to go right, you would steer right because it puts your front wheels in a position to move your vehicle in that position. So we'll look a little bit more about that when we talk about parking in a minute. So see how this guy, he's looking through his back window versus relying on the mirror. That's just number one thing when you're reversing. A really good thing to remember is always look right through your window and apply it. And if you can't see through your window and you have to rely on your side view mirrors, then in that situation, you would want somebody to assist you. That's when you would have somebody out there judging that space cushion because definitely when you look in those tiny little mirrors, objects seem smaller in the mirror, so then that distance, they seem farther away. That's just the way it works in mirrors, and you don't want to rely on that because it's not a true judgment of how close or how far things are. So if you had to, always use your back window, but in a situation where you can't see through it, say there's some cargo or you have a trailer behind you, something like that, then get somebody to assist you to make sure you're not going to bump into anything. So when backing to the left or the right, use both hands on the steering wheel in this situation. So you're not just backing straight up anymore, you actually are maneuvering your vehicle. So anytime you're going to turn your vehicle you want to have both hands on the steering wheel because just in an instance where you start turning your vehicle and you only have one hand, as soon as you take that hand off, your vehicle is going to naturally want to come back to the starting position. With that tension, it's not natural for the tires to be turned. They don't just stay there easily. They always, your tires want to default to going back straight. So that's why anytime you're going to turn your vehicle, you definitely want to keep two hands on them. To back to the left, you look over your left shoulder with occasional glances to the front. And then vice versa, when you're trying to move your vehicle to the right, you would look over your right shoulder. So this is essentially also what a shoulder check is. Anytime that you want to do a lane change or you're backing, reversing your vehicle, you want to rely by looking over that shoulder in that direction. So the reason why you would, if you're moving to the left, you would look over your left shoulder so that you can see the best possible view of what's on your left side of your car. Because if you're looking just on the right and you're trying to go left, there's a big part back there that you cannot see. So just as the individual in there, she is looking over her left shoulder as she's reversing, and that's because she's checking the left side of her vehicle as she moves that way. She should also have 2 hands on the wheel, as we discussed. Remember, the front of your vehicle will actually swing in the opposite direction that you're turning. So if you are turning your vehicle, your back end's going left, then the front end's going to be going right. So that's why you need to kind of keep making glances to the front, making sure that the front of your vehicle isn't going to hit like a parked car beside you or something like that.